Tell me about you.
When I was born, the doctor assigned me female at birth. So I spent the first 15 or so years of my life living as female.
What are some things and words that people use that drive you nuts? Well, when I say nuts, I don't. Okay, this is getting really awkward. No, but really.
I hear this one a lot, is transgendered with an ED at the end.
Ah, yes.
And like I see that everywhere. Like
I've been guilty. I saw it today on my iPhone.
Yeah.
When I typed in transgen, I got to gen. Autocorrect came up, gendered.
Yeah, it's used everywhere, and it's like mostly used in a totally innocent meaning
Of
way.
course.
But it's just, it sort of implies that we were like cisgender people who like somehow like fell in a vat of toxic waste and became transgendered.
Have you been transgendered?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. What the hell is cisgendered?
It's basically just like cisgender is anyone who's not trans.
So am I
Transition to the
cisgendered?
opposite. Yeah, you would be cisgender.
I would be a cisgendered person. Cisgender.
Cisgender.
I've not been cisgendered.
Unless you were transgender
Unless
and
I
then
was
became cisgendered. Some people use it because they think that, you know, you can't be transgender without having had any type of surgery. And so they're like,
Right.
you have to be transgendered.
I like your finger went like this as if it was a
Transgendered.
tool that you could use. It's like, this is
Yeah.
how we're doing the surgery. There it is. Done.
Yeah, scalpel.
Scalpel.
Transgender is the umbrella term. You say trans just like to shorten it, but like,
It's fun.
yeah, it's hip.
It's cool. Trans people.
Yeah.
Can you explain the difference between trans people, drag queens, cross-dressers, and Mrs. Doubtfire?
Basically, trans people
Yep.
identify with a different gender than they were identified that they were assigned at birth.
Yep.
Drag queens and drag kings dress as another gender in like an entertainment performance type
It's more
setting.
theatrical.
Yeah. Mrs. Doubtfire, I would say that would be cross-dressing.
Okay. Maybe break that down. The difference between gender and sexuality. They're not the same.
No. So like gender is totally like who you feel you are. I feel that I am male on the inside. And then sexuality is who you like, who you're attracted to.
It's not always
It's not always this.
or this
No, or
or that.
it's not always that.
Can trans people start this as their official handshake?
Well, that's a question that lots of people love to ask is how do you have sex? We could just like this.
That's so, what do you want people to know about you that might surprise them?
One of the main things that people think about, like I've gotten this a few times, has been like, oh, so like you're a lesbian? And then I'm like,
Oh, right.
no, I'm not just like really gay so gay that I like transitioned so that I would be straight. It's like to be a lesbian, you have to be a woman and like women, and neither is true for me. So like people just assume that transgender is just like a really extreme form of gay.
Yeah, so then how does that work?
So like trans people can have any sexuality just like cis people.
Yeah.
And it's like not at all about who you like. It's completely about like who you feel you are on the inside.
Others identified you as female before you were 15, and then now you're like living the life as a male. Do you notice them treating you differently?
Like I went through like a really awkward phase where no one was really sure.
Right.
And then like I was working an ice cream job at the time, and people would like come up and be like, hey boss or something, and then I'd be like yes, that definitely means they
Yes.
ID'd me right.
When you were a girl, it was hi, and when you're a guy, it's like hey.
Yeah, basically I'm like suddenly part of the club. And they used to like call me ma'am, and I like would pretend that
Ma'am?
and I would pretend that I heard like man, and I'd be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Right.
You do get treated differently.
Yeah.
And I kind of
I mean,
watch
obviously
myself like gain privilege as like
Right. Is that why you wanted to become a male, because you want to make more money?
I actually have no feeling inside my brain about what gender I am. I just really wanted like, what is it? An extra 50 cents
Yeah, I
for the
think it's
dollar?
50. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
What is the correct question to ask somebody if you don't know?
Yeah, so like you can never tell for sure. Like you can't just look at someone and know they're trans. So you could ask, how do you self-identify? And then that leaves sort of if they feel safe coming out to you, they can do that. And if they don't, they also don't have to. They can give you something else, like I'm Canadian or...
Yeah. So explain to me and Canada
Okay.
about the pronouns.
So there's obviously the ones that most people know, he, him, she, her. So I go by he,
she,
him.
her.
So, and then, you know, there are trans people that don't necessarily feel that they fit with either the male or female label, and they're somewhere in between or somewhere around.
Yeah.
And so they will use like a gender neutral pronoun a lot of the time. And so the one that I've come across the most is they, them. It's like a singular pronoun. Some people don't feel comfortable with they, them, and just really,
And
it's
why
the
is
first
it that
step.
they feel uncomfortable with even the gender neutral, the they, them?
Well, a lot of people like to argue that they, them cannot be singular and that that's grammatically incorrect.
I see.
And
so it's plural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They love to fight on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As a trans person, it's your job to tell people what your pronouns are.
Right.
But it's also like a cis person's job to maybe ask what your pronouns are if they aren't sure, instead of just assuming based on what you look like. Or
What are some terminology that cisgender people use that is completely off limits?
the T slur, which is tranny, that's like a complete slur and it's not okay to use at all.
Tranny, bad, bad, bad.
Yeah, like some people will use it to identify for like their own self, and like in a way of kind of like reclaiming the slur.
So that's like the N word.
Yeah.
Because I'm a newfie. And that's a bad word. And then what about when we use the term intersex?
So intersex is people who, when they were born, it wasn't totally clear when they were, whether they were male or female, or maybe later in life they realize they have like characteristics of both male and female people.
You know, I remember hearing a term growing up, hermaphrodite.
Yeah, that's
what
not
is
really
a hermaphrodite?
It's
a horrible
used to
term.
mean intersex, but it's like
Okay.
not used anymore. Yeah.
What's ally?
Ally is like anyone who is like an ally to the community, just
Yes.
like a straight cis person
Yep.
who,
Me, I'd be a straight cis person.
yeah, and you are an ally.
Where do I
to-
sign up to become an ally? Do I have to apply online?
No, you're good. You just gotta accept everyone.
Right. I just don't think human biology is ever perfect.
Yeah, like there's not just XX and XY.
Right.
There's like stuff happens. So.
Yeah. I think people feel uncomfortable because they don't want to mess up.
Yeah. All that cis people really need to know is just know which terminology to use. It's like not super hard. You're allowed to mess up.
Yep.
Just do your very best.
Right. Andrew, thank you so much for doing this. Took a lot of balls. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh boy.
You. Hey, looking for even more 22 minutes? Why don't you fall down a YouTube rabbit hole of sketches right here? And don't forget to subscribe below. There you go. Click it.